All right. Happy Wednesday evening. Happy original National Signing Day. It's the day you've all been looking forward to. It is SEC After Dark, and it's a three-man weave tonight.
Yeah, I'm in a weird spot here.
Yeah, we're going JV basketball, three-man weave, and Jake, you're in the middle of the two Rivals employees here, so have fun with that. It's gonna be like Night at the Roxbury, where we're just.
Speaking of Rivals employees, on today's show, I told the story about how John Leggett, sorry to name drop you, John, but he accidentally labeled somebody a 4-star one of a kid that committed to a MAC school, and that school ended up winning the recruiting championship, and it should have been a 2-star.
Oh no.
Yeah. Put too many stars.
Yeah. And by the time it got caught, man, Miami of Ohio had already blown it out to everybody. It was all over recruiting type. Oh, it was great.
And that's when like some of those schools where they would sign kids and that you like that aren't in our system, so we have to manually add them. Jake, it's like we'd all take the signing day rosters for like all the Mountain West teams, all the MAC teams, all like the at the time Conference USA, like all the G5. All the G5 programs. It was hilarious. We'd be there literally from 8 to about 8:39, something like that.
Yeah, but it was a fun day. It was something where you were there all day, but it was just fun. I enjoyed signing days.
Yeah, we had the TVs on in our room. It was just very, very casual. We didn't really start working until like 4, because like that's when all the G5 schools would start rolling out their recruiting classes, and then like the West Coast schools would I always drew like Hawaii and like San Jose State and stuff like that. Like Hawaii would obviously be the last one, but to announce, but
like
and we're like
no,
and whoever got BYU had to like sift through. We like rotated each year who got BYU, because like they had so many people coming back from missions, they didn't count for or against the recruiting class.
Oh, okay.
Like if they had a player coming back from mission, like they didn't count.
Huh.
So like that was a whole thing. Like you had to go through their signing list and figure out who that was, and a lot of times it was like 6, 7, 8 guys.
Yeah, people are getting a whole lot of inside baseball right now, but signing day was really fun, and the first couple of nights of the NCAA tournament were really fun.
Yeah, and then like that 5th year, 6th year happened, and we're just like, okay, we're done with this.
I got embedded with James Franklin. I enjoyed that. Me and Pat Forty with James Franklin in like 2013.
That looked. Yeah, I remember you doing that. That was a lot of fun. That was like right before. I think that was like one of your last things, wasn't it? Your last.
I think that was one of my last things. I was at.
You did Final Four too, I think, right?
Yeah. I did signing day, the Final Four, at the Georgia Dome at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I got to actually go on the court after the game, meet Dick Vitale and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Then, and then that summer, I think I ended up at WSMV.
Yeah. It was happened very, very quickly. It was like it's like right before the second annual Rivals 100 5-star challenge. It was like right before that. I remember. I think you still came to the event, because I think you were like in kind of limbo of like you had already like left, but like you were still in that window of like not officially stepping foot out. So like that was like your very last event.
Yeah. Something else that was that in Baltimore maybe?
No, this one was in
Chicago.
No, I don't think you came to Chicago, did you?
No, I don't think so. Atlanta.
It was Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Atlanta, then Chicago, and then stayed in Baltimore for a while.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I had a blast. Mm-hmm. They tried really hard to keep me, and my wife just wasn't moving to Texas. That just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
If anybody knows Becky, they know that Becky's not going to Texas.
Yeah, Becky did not want to go. Yeah, I remember that whole cycle. Yeah. Laura didn't really want to move either, but I was lucky. I was an independent contractor, so I didn't like fall under that. I could just kind of stay put.
Yeah.
And then my turn didn't come for another probably 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And my turn finally came in 2017.
Yeah. John Leggett's turn came first.
Yeah, that was that sucked.
So weird. Oh my gosh.
A weird day.
Cold-hearted stuff. Yeah, that was a weird day. We'll talk about that at some other time, but let's get the show started.
Oh yeah.
We just spent 5 minutes going inside baseball.
There you go.
Behind the curtain, right? All right, so we are SEC After Dark, presented by DeadSoxy. If you want to support Ole Miss NIL, make sure you buy some socks at DeadSoxy. That box that's sitting over Steve's right shoulder and the pair that he's holding in his hands, those are Lane Train socks right there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go on DeadSoxy.com and order you 7 pair. You can set yourself up for the week. You can get some Ole Miss designs. You can get some other colors to match your different outfits. Whatever you want to do, whatever your sock game is, DeadSoxy has it. And the great thing is you want to do the membership. Why? Why do you want to do the membership? Because there's a 25% discount at all times. You get free shipping on everything you order, and you get a free gift. I don't know what that free gift is, but it's free, and free is for me. So make sure you go to DeadSoxy.com right now, sign up, and order your socks now. And while you wear them, you get to tell everybody, stay soxy, my friends.
Hey, you know what time it is? It's time to get locked on pickles, everybody. Stewart's Cajun Pickles, they offer a variety of Cajun spice products like pickles, green beans, okra, even carrots, and asparagus. This is a family-owned company, homemade on the coast of Mississippi. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles have been pleasing pickle lovers for over 20 years now, and they've become the South's favorite pickle. These are truly the best pickles you will ever have, a strong dill flavor with the Cajun punch. No over sour taste. This being a small business, they strive to keep the produce fresh from the start. They keep the pickle product extra crisp and crunchy. You can find these pickle products online at thepicklestore.com or at your local Rouse's Market or other Gulf Coast Southern stores near you. Be sure to like Stewart's Cajun Pickle product on Facebook and Instagram. Try these pickles, okra, or beans today. You will not be disappointed. Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, the South's favorite pickle.
You can see them right there on the bookshelf. It's a prop now at this point. It's a decoration. Make sure you refrigerate them too, by the way. We're gonna talk a little. We're gonna end the show a little bit with some Super Bowl stuff. We're gonna talk prop bets and things. All that's presented by BetOnline.ag, your number one source for all your sports wagering needs. If you want to bet it, they have it, including an online casino. So make sure you head to BetOnline.ag right now. Enter the promo code Bleav. That's BLEAV to get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline.ag, it's where the game starts. Guys, a lot going on here. Tennessee is pissed and suing so much so that Jake Thomas decided he wanted to leave.
He's done.
He
probably just saw the Auburn-Alabama score tonight.
Yep, he's running for the hills, right? So Tennessee is pissed and suing. I don't know what this Dartmouth ruling is, so this is going to be fun stuff. And then SEC Hoops Fever, which if you're a fan of any team except Vanderbilt, you're probably got the fever. Vanderbilt is just ready to move on from Jerry Stackhouse.
That's right. Steve, didn't Vandy beat Missouri?
They beat Missouri, so they're not winless. But then they turn around and get hammered by 30. I think it was 37 points.
Oh yeah, that was 110 points or something they scored.
Yeah, last night it was brutal.
My goodness, yeah,
it was brutal, man.
That is messed up. But the reason the Tennessee Pistons suing, the Dartmouth ruling, we can all kind of put those in a category together. The NCAA is under siege right now. Mm-hmm. And honestly, we don't particularly care that they are. Even though the NCAA is nothing but the universities that we love, they are under threat legally all over the place. This Dartmouth ruling is the National Labor and Relations Board saying the men's basketball team for Dartmouth can vote to unionize, which means that private schools are going to have to deal with that. And especially you cover a private school, there's a threat that those players can unionize. And that is what that Dartmouth ruling is. There's a ruling out in California for a back NIL pay that could be billions of dollars of damages, just financially crippling the NCAA. You have a situation to where, honestly, the Big Ten and the SEC, they've agreed to be friends essentially out of necessity. And I think what's going to happen is the SEC and the Big Ten are going to take their ball. They're going to leave the NCAA, and they're going to take about 10 of their closest friends with them.
Yep. It's more and more is happening. There's some things going on in the background that you're looking at going, yeah, this is going to be a thing. Yeah, this is really going to be a thing.
Yeah. And you have just, I don't know. I've talked about this on the show previously, and I'll talk about it again. But the NCAA is really good at governing like Delta State, like Jacksonville State, Louisiana Monroe. Those are the schools that the NCAA is really good and set up to govern. The NCAA does not want Alabama and Georgia and Ole Miss and Illinois and even Indiana in the NCAA anymore. They do not want the headache and the money that comes with that.
Too much money and power.
Yeah, I think the NCAA is purposely sabotaging this relationship with the power schools so they can cull them off, they can reconstitute, and they can govern these smaller schools their own way.
Yeah, and the smaller schools will be forced to listen to them because they don't have enough money to really have much power.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's crazy, man. It is very, very crazy. Michael Specs joining us, man. He is a loyal everydayer for the Locked On Vandy podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm supporting both ventures here with my shirt and my backdrop. So I'm a man of many hats, so to speak. So this is a nice little Columbia fishing shirt too, by the way.
Nice.
I'll be in South Florida sometime in early March in Naples. So that'll be fun.
Okay.
But yeah, so they just need to go ahead and do it, man. Like, just go ahead and break away and form your own thing. And it just, I don't know, man. Like, it seems like the NCAA is trying to play chicken here. Does it feel like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bit. Okay, you want to do it? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. Let's see how you do. And then the two conferences will come together and hire a commissioner and somebody who and then hire a panel of like a board almost with a commissioner that has final say, and they're going to lay down all the rules for everything, including NIL, which I talked about on Locked On Vandy about how, like, you know, a lot of these ADs want unified control over NIL, and I said, and we talked about this last week, like, you can't do that. Like, you can't regulate that stuff, man. Like, it's nearly impossible to regulate where the money's coming from, salary caps, because you can't tell businesses how to spend their money, because most of it's like, most of the NIL stuff is sponsorship, and like most of the smaller NIL stuff is sponsorship, and that's how, like, they create equity is the sponsorship stuff. Like, when you look at the Cavender twins, Livy Dunn, and you know, some of the others, like I gave the example on TikTok, like there's a girl that runs track for Duke, and she's got a hotel chain that sponsors her. Her. Yeah.
Wow.
Because, like, she talks about, like, them traveling all the time. So, like, they're like, oh, okay, you're making some popular TikToks here. We'll support you. And that's kind of where it's become. So, like, that's how these female athletes are getting their sponsorship deals. Like, they go on social media. Like, they got some softball players out there that are getting some stuff. And it's just, that's where it is for the non-revenue sports. Football, it is what it is. The starting quarterback's always going to make the most money. That's just, It is what it is. They make the most money in the NFL. They make the most money just everywhere. It's a glamorous power position. Like, you're not going to really be able to do anything about that. So you just got to kind of have somebody on staff that's going to help your non-revenue sports find money, like a GM, like we talked about last week. Like, you need like a team, an NIL team, to go out and find these things,
right?
And bring them to the collect. Like, you have the collective that you manage, and then you have the outside deals, almost like they're agents. It's almost like an agency. Like, that's how you have to create equity.
Yeah. That makes sense.
All right,
I think with this, if this Dartmouth thing happens and the thing happens in California, it's the end of Title IX. There is no equity anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basketball might survive, even women's basketball. but it'll be football, basketball, and maybe baseball. And even then, it's probably only in a corner of the country down in the Southeast because it's not going to be a national sport at all.
No.
But I think Title IX is dead at that point.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, there's not going to be any equity or anything like that. Like it's going to be everybody fending for themselves, and that's why these universities have to be proactive, and that's the reasoning behind that, because the forced equity is going to go away if when these Power 5 schools break away, like they're going to have to do it that way. Like they're not going to have any choice.
Yeah, and student athletes are actually going to become student athletes, and intercollegiate athletics will become basically club sports, with the exception of those 2 or 3 sports.
Yeah, absolutely. But you're going to have, I don't know what they would call it, the Alliance. They call it the Alliance.
No, they already did that, and it cost Florida State a playoff berth.
I know that's
true.
They're going to call it what was the football league that lasted like 3 weeks?
The AAFL.
That was also Alliance. Alliance.
Yeah, Alliance of American Football. Yeah.
So don't use it. So if you're going to start a football league, don't use the word alliance because it will fail. Just don't use the word alliance.
Don't use the word alliance. Alliance it's not worth using. It's really not. I think
do the halftime show.
Are they? I thought they retired.
I thought they were dead.
Well, some of the original ones are because of the plane crash.
Well, I'm just talking about age.
Oh well,
no.
I mean,
Keith Richards is still alive somehow. So I mean,
yeah, it's like Methuselah would be in that band.
They're rock stars. Like rock stars don't for whatever reason. Like all the drugs they did actually aged them in reverse.
Yeah, it's Keith Richards and others.
Yeah, like Keith Richards he's like 175 years old. I think, Steve, you and him could go perform together. By the way, Steve, I love that hat. Let me see the front of it.
Thank you.
Oh,
that's a nice hat. Detroit's got it going on.
What's on? What else is on there? See the stripe? That's palm tree.
Yeah,
palm tree. Spring training hat.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, I saw the Florida thing. I didn't see the palm tree at first. I was like, "What the heck is that?"
And I also have their official spring training hat coming as well.
Is it the orange one with the tiger head on it?
Yes.
That one's pretty sick. I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah. And I am Mr. Yeah, just take my money. Yeah, and I've got a 5-pack. My first game is like the 26th against the Astros. So I get to see all the top prospects have been invited to Major League Camp. So I mean that'll be cool.
Steve, you need to go full. Just go full dive in. Just go full Detroit at this point.
Have I not?
Yeah, I mean,
Lions.
I've been a lifelong fan.
Yeah, he's been a lifelong fan for 2 years now.
Well,
or a year.
It's a year.
Yeah.
A lifelong.
This is year 2.
Yeah. No, I will not go in Detroit Lions, although I was rooting for them against the 49ers. Well, I will not go in for the Red Wings. I will not go in for the Pistons. Well, basically, it's only the Detroit Tigers. The New Orleans Saints are in there, and Ole Miss, and those are basically the only 3 teams that I care about.
You don't care about the Pelicans?
No, not even a little bit.
You did when they were Hornets, though.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
The Hornets.
I haven't watched an NBA game in probably 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of them when I worked there. But
yeah, I mean, you can't help that. Yeah, but I mean, I want to go root for the Lightning. I'd like to get into the NHL. I could see myself being all about the Bolts in Tampa Bay, but I just don't have time to do that.
Yeah, that's true. Like I want to root for the Preds, but I can't get to any games. I can't really sink my teeth into it because hockey's so terrible to watch on TV.
I want
This
to
is
root for
not
the.
sport.
I would love to root for Atlanta Thrashers. Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah.
Hey, they're trying to get the Coyotes.
Yeah, I did hear that.
So is that so they can lose a third franchise to Canada?
Yeah, pretty much.
Good Lord. Yeah, I got to figure out who my UFL team's going to be. Because like the merger.
I hate their uniforms. I wish they would have done the uniforms like it was in the original USFL. I would have been all in on the Memphis Showboats if they didn't have those god awful uniforms.
I kind of like I found myself watching XFL games and rooting for the DC Defenders.
Yeah, Jordan Thomas.
Yeah, I don't know. And Greg Williams was their coach, so I kind of like hated myself for rooting for him. But
the Michigan Panthers I like just because of the color scheme, because you just do not see that very much.
The light blue and gold, and
the guard, it was like Aston Villa.
Light blue, yeah. With the gold accent.
Yeah. I mean, it looks really good, but it's weird. It's not one that you see every day.
I'll never root for New Jersey or Philly. I'll never do that. I don't know. I'm just going to watch.
Well, they're not in the league at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Neither is Pittsburgh.
They didn't make it.
Yeah, the only three teams from the USFL that made it was Birmingham, Memphis, and Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
Even the Houston team is the Roughnecks that came in, even though it's technically a USFL team.
Right.
Although I kind of like the Roughnecks jerseys. They have the Texas flag helmets. I enjoyed those.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Well, damn. I'm gonna have to find out who I'm gonna root for. Well,
yeah,
I'm gonna have to figure it out.
Yeah, the New Jersey Generals has to come back because they're the team that's the villain team. The Philadelphia Stars have to come back because they're the freaking Philadelphia Stars. So I think those might be the first two expansion options because they're going to expand fairly quickly in the UFL.
So did they not cut any XFL teams?
Well, they did. The Seattle Sea Dragons, the Vegas Vipers.
If you had a location,
they cut. Did they cut the Guardians? Maybe
San Antonio.
No, they're in there. Dallas is in there. All the Texas teams survived,
of course.
Why'd
they cut Vegas? I guess because they were playing horse patty.
Yeah, with it and Cashman Field.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got UFL after dark.
I know.
Somebody in the comments said something about UFL.
Did they? Oh, Rick and Bonnie says he's watching the Stallions this year.
Yeah,
and he should because they're good. And the Birmingham Stallions, that is USFL. You know
they won both championships, I think.
Yeah.
So have they announced the rosters yet for these teams?
I think so.
I think Scooby Wright is the linebacker for the Stallions. That's about the only player I know on their team.
Yeah, Rick and Bonnie says that he saw the New Jersey Generals play in Birmingham almost 40 years ago. Yeah, the New Jersey Generals is set as the villain team in the USFL, and that goes way back. That goes back to when they got Herschel Walker.
Yeah, it is. So here's the teams. Stallions, Roughnecks, Showboats, and Panthers is the USFL conference. And the XFL conference is Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, San Antonio Brahmas, and the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Caw.
Nice.
All right, let me give you a name here that will like bring all this into perspective. Vic Beasley, former NFL first rounder, is playing for the Arlington Renegades.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice. How old is he now?
Not very old.
Really?
Chris Owens is playing. Jake.
Yeah.
Let's see. Caleb Vander Esch, Leighton's brother, wide receiver from South Dakota, is playing on the Renegades.
Like quarterbacks like Matt Corral I don't know why Matt Corral is not playing in this league.
So here's the quarterbacks for Holton Allers from East Carolina. This is
the lefty.
Yeah. And then you have Luis Perez from A&M Commerce, who played, I think, for the DC Defenders last year. And Lindsey Scott from Incarnate Word played with the Houston XFL team.
Run, Lindsey, run. Never mind.
Wrong, Lindsey Scott. Let's see. These rosters are fun. Dion Kane, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Birmingham's got Thaddeus Moss. He's playing for Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adrian Martinez is quarterback in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Jalen Morton from Prairie View and Jamar Smith from La Tech.
Yeah, Jamar Smith is the one who starts for him.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good.
Let's see. Scooby, right? Yeah, for Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
DC Defenders, Davin Bellamy. Yep. That's a Georgia guy for those keeping score at home. Lamont Galliard, offensive line. DeAndre Francois, remember that name?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the guy that Bam almost broke.
Yeah.
They did break him, didn't they?
Yeah.
Jalen McClendon from Baylor played with Vegas last year. These are the quarterbacks. And then the third quarterback, I don't think they have a third quarterback there. Bold strategy. Kenji Bahar. I'm just going through the quarterbacks and notable names here. This is really, really good programming for those of you keeping score at home. Looks like this team needs to sign another two quarterbacks. They just have one on their roster right now. The Roughnecks.
Well, who did Adrian McCarron play for last year before he got, I guess,
the Battlehawks, right?
Yeah.
The Battlehawks, yeah.
Before he got promoted to the NFL.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand, like Matt Corral, why he's not in the UFL.
I know.
And doing that is
he'd be a starter day one.
Yeah. And he would go in and it would probably ball out during the season and get into a training camp. It would be a 1-year thing.
Remember Etling?
Danny Etling,
Danny Etling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quarterback LSU. He's playing for the Michigan Panthers.
Oh,
okay. At wide receiver?
No, quarterback. Yeah. He's the only one on the roster.
Oh, wow.
Looks like he won that start.
Bobby Hebert once played for the Michigan Panthers.
Oh, never mind. DJ Davis Cheek. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. The Brahmas. That's the Rock's favorite team. Jack Cohn. Remember him?
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Binkert playing for the San Antonio Brahmas. He has some good videos. Kurt Binkert. Some of these teams have like 3 quarterbacks. Some have like 1. Battlehawks. Let's see who their quarterback is now. They don't have one. No, they do. Nick Tiano. Yeah.
Nick Tiano. Why does that name sound familiar?
He is from UT Chattanooga.
Okay.
So,
which means he probably transferred from UT.
Probably so.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk college hoops.
Yes.
Alabama just got destroyed in Auburn tonight.
Yeah, join the club.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, Auburn at Neville Arena. Good God.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yep.
If Auburn could play the NCAA tournament in Neville Arena, they would win the national championship.
No, probably so.
I think
I'm glad they don't.
Right.
But they don't, which means they'll go out in the second round. Getting beat by like Utah State.
And I didn't think Blue Bloods lost in the second round.
Heck. I think there's like twice that Ole Miss has been in the second round.
Georgia just started right now. They're down against Mississippi State at the hump.
What about South Carolina? I mean, they poured it on this year.
Dude, like what's going on there, man? They have freaking
they're I don't know who their coach is, but my gosh, they are great right now.
At one point last night, they were 7 of 10 from 3-point range.
Yeah.
Kentucky was nearly 60% from 3-point range for the game. I mean, Kentucky shot better from 3-point than they did from the field.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a situation in the second half. Ole Miss almost came back from 17 points down in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And the ball was in the air 3 possessions, 3 straight times they could have tied it up. Ole Miss ended up losing the game. But I think that Ole Miss should be able to beat South Carolina at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. This Georgia team is very interesting. They're just so young in their development that they don't know how to finish games right now.
Yeah. Which is good. Whenever Ole Miss goes to the Stegosaurus, that's turning into a game that Ole Miss has to win.
Yeah. And speaking of Georgia, is Ladd McConkey going to be like the new it receiver in the draft this year?
Perhaps.
Like, dude, him and Ricky Pearsall just dominated.
I think Malik Neighbors is still going to be that guy.
No, he's not. It's all about Ladd McConkey and Ricky Pearsall. Like, nobody knows that.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, both Ricky Pearsall and Ladd McConkey, they're gym rats. They're lunch pail guys.
They're first in, last out.
Coaches' kids.
Coaches on the field, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All that really elite route
all
runners.
That stuff. Yeah.
Elite route runners. Yeah. All that stuff. No. Yeah. In all seriousness, yeah. Malik Neighbors is going to – they had him projected to the Titans.
Oh, so he's going to get traded to the Eagles in like 4 years?
Yeah. And then continue to dominate.
Yeah.
I also heard somewhere where like Brock Bowers wants to play for the Titans.
No.
I don't know. I don't know they're going to get him. But
I wish.
Brock Bowers is going to get drafted by the Chargers at 5.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to fall.
Everybody can see Jim Harbaugh being there. They got, what is his name? Greg Roman as offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's his dream, man. Justin Herbert getting his Mark Andrews
and
Brock Bowers. Like Jim Harbaugh watched Brock Bowers just absolutely annihilate him in the Orange Bowl. He's like, yeah, I'm going to definitely pick this guy if I ever get a chance to.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans can plan all they want to about drafting Brock Bowers. There's no way that he's going to be there at 8.
No, well, if they're there at 8, Falcons will draft him.
Yeah, Titans got the 7 pick, and they need offensive tackle. Or they got an offensive tackle projected there, Joe Alt from Notre Dame. So they need offensive lineman bad.
They need another quarterback. That's what they need.
Well, they got.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah,
they're going to trade up. They're going to trade up for Caleb.
Yeah, you need to reach for a quarterback.
Yeah. No, we're going to wait to the second round to do that.
In the first round draft pick, the Tennessee Titans select Joe Milton.
Oh, boy.
They trade up also. They trade up to number 2 to get Joe Milton.
Oh, man.
So what do you think is going to happen with Caleb Williams? You think all this, like him not wanting to play for the Bears, is a smoke screen, or what do you think about that?
Well, was it a smoke screen when Eli Manning didn't want to play for the Chargers?
Was it a smoke screen?
And honestly, if we can be completely cool with Eli Manning doing that to basically force what he did for that change because he didn't want to play with the Chargers, Caleb Williams can do the exact same thing.
I mean,
although I think Caleb Williams is a severely overrated player.
He's just soft.
Yeah.
He's physical talent. He's good, but he's just soft.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant did the same thing when he got drafted by the Hornets.
Yeah.
He refused to play for him, and they had to trade him to LA Lakers, and you see how that turned out.
Who has the number 2 pick?
Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders
with Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, who has the number 3 pick?
The Patriots. And they got projected Jaden Daniels going there.
Yeah, because
pretty solid pick there.
Whoever in the top 3 gets Caleb Williams, that media is going to chew him up and spit him out.
Yep. Drake May's projected 2nd to Washington.
Drake, you know that meme of the old guy that has the maroon shirt and he holds up the other same exact maroon shirt? Like when you draft Drake May, isn't that Sam Howell?
Yeah.
Literally. It's the guy who came after Sam Howell.
They're the same dude. I mean, Drake May's a little bit faster than Sam Howell, but it's the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same exact dude.
Everybody, this is something. Now we're on NFL After Dark, but everybody is so analytically based and value based, and everybody talked about how the Detroit Lions had absolutely the worst draft in history, even though they got exactly the players they needed to go. But because they didn't draft this player in the first round, or this position first and this position second, it's viewed as an analytical failure.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago and Washington, neither one of them need quarterbacks.
Right.
But if they don't draft a quarterback in one of those people, they're going to be just completely destroyed.
Yeah, like who would ever think that a team that is starving for an elite wide receiver, and I'm sorry, DJ Moore is not elite like Marvin Harrison Jr. is. Like Chicago is going to get, if they draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and keep Justin Fields, they're going to get lambasted. Mm-hmm. And Marvin Harrison Jr. might be the best player in this draft.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. What people need to realize, and this won't happen because, and much like recruiting rankings is, they want to view it as one system. There's one thing, just put them on a list straight down, rank them all together, and don't draft this person above this person, or you're going to mess up your value. But the fact of the matter is, value is all dependent on who is picking. The best value pick for the Chicago Bears and the number 1 pick or the number 4 pick or even the number 12 pick would probably be either Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr.
It's Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about they had the 12 pick because Marvin Harrison Jr. wouldn't be there then.
Oh,
but
no.
Still, that wide receiver is what they need. Why would you vilify them for taking exactly what they need?
Right.
They need offensive line. They need wide receiver. And they need some pieces on defense. Like those are the elite pieces they need, and they can fill in depth with other guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eberflus secretly is a decent coach. I think when he took over play calling on defense, he actually turned out to be really good. This is going to be a really interesting draft for Ryan Poles in that front office. Like they've got to figure out. They got to figure out the quarterback spot. Like, I don't like Justin Fields is not the greatest quarterback of all time, but like he's
compared to Caleb Williams, if that's your choice.
Yeah,
there's
like
not enough difference that you would upset the apple cart
mm-hmm.
and mess up your personnel by bringing him in.
See, like you have to. I think you have to have a bead for your current roster, and a team that really had a bead on their current roster was the Raiders. Like. Everybody in that organization wanted Antonio Pierce, and they did it. And so I think they're going to benefit from that because those guys will play hard for Antonio Pierce. And, I think that a lot of those Bear players want Justin Fields. Is he perfect? Far from it. But, he's developing. I think him under a different offensive coordinator will help. I think them getting some pieces to protect him. He's very skittish in the pocket, and for good reason. I mean, he's been running for his life for 2.5 years because he didn't start right away. But he's still skittish. Like he's got to have he doesn't trust himself back there. That's part of what Justin Fields is going through. Like some of these quarterbacks that get in these programs that have, or they get in these franchises that have zero protection for them, and the play calling doesn't help you at times, and they. Some of the stuff you're just scratching your head. Like no wonder he's the way he is because he's not being protected. Like I think CJ Stroud fell apart down the stretch of the season, actually got hurt because he had no protection. Like I think that's what they would have had a better playoff run had CJ Stroud had a better offensive line and not been so afraid and having those unforced errors to where there's pressure without pressure, Yeah.
And there's not one system. Like in the NFL for the longest time, there was one system. There was the prototypical NFL quarterback. He's an NFL pocket passer. Lamar Jackson in 1992 would not be playing NFL football right now.
Nope.
No.
John Harbaugh, for whatever you want to say about it, had the guts to completely build around a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. And because of that, he's getting rewarded at this point.
Yeah, he is.
But they don't ask him to pocket pass. You can't ask Justin Fields, I don't think, to do what Dan Marino did.
No, you can't.
I think they need to. Honestly, they probably, Chicago should have said, hey, Todd Monken, what do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Because at least he would understand what's going on. Hey, T. Martin, come on over here. What do you guys do over there?
Yeah, like how do you account for, or even like Slovic with CJ Stroud? Like how did you get him behind that offensive line playing at an elite level? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what they're going through.
Well, go. Sorry, Corey.
Go for it. Yeah,
I'm just going to say here's the thing about the Caleb Williams situation with Chicago. You know, that front office has seen all the stuff out there about him saying he don't want to play for them. So why would you waste your draft pick on him when you can get, like you said, a Marvin Harrison and fill a spot, a need at that point? Because I don't know if he would do it, but couldn't he set out and hold out and not sign the contract? And obviously, you just lose a pick after that.
Ask Bo Jackson.
And then you potentially trade Justin Fields. Like what's going to happen is they're going to trade Justin Fields while they can. And then they're going to draft Caleb Williams. And there's a chance that he's not going to show up.
Right.
And you're going to be left starting Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
And you're down there in the death spiral at that point.
You're gonna be the first round pick for the next 3 or 4 years, probably.
If you draft Caleb Williams, you better draft a capable backup. So you're burning 2 picks on quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
When you could be burning those picks on other guys, corners, receivers.
I would not take Caleb Williams as a top 10 pick.
It's too much, but there's too much baggage.
Yeah, there's too many unanswered questions. Yes, he has all of this ability, but whenever he was forced to do it against big name competitions, he struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever he struggled, he couldn't handle the media scrutiny. And off the field, it started melting down a little bit. And he talked about trying to, I think something about an equity and ownership of whoever drafted him. And it's like, what is going on?
You're a rookie.
Yeah. I think it would behoove him to be on the Aaron Rodgers plan. And I'm not talking about the Green Bay Packers. I just think he needs to sit in that room for a little while.
Yeah, I do too. You know, and all the talent in the world, they're going to force him out there. And if he goes into one of these tough media markets, man, that's
Or if
Can
he
you
wants to
imagine
own
him playing for the Jets?
Yeah.
oh my God.
If he wants equity and ownership of a team, he better look at the UFL. He better get in one of those teams and buy
because they'll probably give it to him.
Right.
Go give it to him, and the fans will love him. The media will love him.
Yep.
Like he's in a cush media market.
Yeah.
In LA. They don't really challenge you all that much. Mm-mm. Can you imagine him going in Chicago or Philly?
Washington,
New York.
Washington's brutal, dude.
Yeah, they're getting ready to eat. They're getting ready to eat Sam Howell up.
Mm-hmm.
They've already started chewing on him. And they've already started kind of chewing on the Dan Quinn hire too. Like it's bad.
It's very
they hate it. Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like that at all. And you better buckle up, man. Whoever gets picked there, they better buckle up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily go back to Sam Howell. I don't necessarily know that he's the answer, but also don't know that he's not the answer yet either.
Right.
Yeah, I know that he's flashed, and at this point, that's what you want. You want a rookie quarterback to do, or a second-year quarterback. You want him to flash. You want to see that potential manifest, even if for short periods of time, because consistency, repetition is going to lead to consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when you're just cycling, like there was one player that came out there because that's like the number one question at Super Bowl Media Day is what would you do at number one? And one, I forget who it was. George Kittle said, I think you trade down, build around, give Justin Fields some actual options. But one guy who used to play in Chicago said that they cycle through quarterbacks way too fast up there.
Yeah,
and they do. The last quarterback that just had staying power and stuck around was what, Rex Grossman?
Rex Grossman.
Jay Cutler.
And Jay Cutler, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cutler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you think about it, that was over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cutler left. I think it's been 10 years since he retired.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 8 to 10 years since he retired.
Jay Cutler and Lynn Dawson lighting up darts on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. Jeez. Yeah, so like they've got to figure this thing out. Do they just blow it all up and start over, and just realize that they're just? I mean, that's what they're going to do, but I don't necessarily. I think they're pretty close as a team, talent wise. Like they're just a couple pieces away. And I think they've got the right offensive coordinator in, because he did really well with Geno Smith until Geno Smith turned into Geno Smith, turned back into Geno Smith. But there was an obvious expiration on his abilities, and I think Shane Waldron got everything he could out of Geno Smith. He'll do the same for Justin Fields, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah,
we'll have to figure out if Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris can get everything they can out of Justin Fields.
Well, let's talk about the Super Bowl before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's talk about the Super Bowl. So, according to betonline.ag, that's where we get all of our lines from. The Super Bowl, I heard it's this weekend.
I think you're right.
I hate this game so much. I hate it.
The Niners are 2-point favorites. The over-under is 47.5.
All right, so I got a question for you guys. I was going to say this last week, we wouldn't have got time, but it is more relevant now since it is Super Bowl week. But I heard on the radio something the other day that if potentially the Chiefs win, could you start putting Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in the Bill Belichick / Tom Brady discussion?
I would say win or lose, you could do that with Andy Reid.
I agree.
To me, there's part of me saying that Andy Reid is better than Belichick.
Yeah.
He's had more sustained success.
Right.
He's been head coach since like 98, 97, 98.
He's gotten 2 quarterbacks to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he has.
And
Bill Belichick didn't.
And countless others to like NFC championships. Like he brought Alex Smith back. Like Alex Smith was labeled a complete bust in San Francisco. Had a brief resurgence before, obviously, mangling his leg. But I mean, Andy Reid just continues to, like, he took a dead Chiefs organization and turned them into this.
Yeah.
Like remember when Chiefs were on Hard Knock with Herm Edwards?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Like that was brutal.
Yeah.
Like, no offense to Brody Croyle, but like if you're expecting him to be the star of your franchise,
you got pray.
So to answer your question, yes, Andy Reid came in and immediately turned Kansas City into one of the most one of the biggest brands in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Kyle Shanahan did the same with San Francisco. Like he revived them. They were dead for a while. I think the last time they were truly relevant was under Steve Mariucci, and then they had a blip under Harbaugh, and then they were dead again.
Yeah, because Singletary didn't do anything there.
Singletary, well, he had a memorable moment for a bad reason, but like you go from Bill Walsh to Seifert to Mooch, and then your franchise died for a little while, and then they made a Super Bowl appearance under Harbaugh.
Yep.
And almost had the game won, and then they died again. Now they're back. It's their 4th Super Bowl or something, 3rd Super Bowl in 4 years or something like that too. They've been in it quite a bit lately too. Shanahan's good. He just falls apart in the 4th quarter. Like that's his like Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Yep. 3/28 is a holiday in Louisiana.
Yeah, because y'all hate the Falcons so much.
Mhm.
It's also one in New England too.
Mhm.
They asked Matt Ryan about that. Matt Ryan's such a good analyst.
Yeah.
He's such a good analyst. He's a kid, like he brings everything like you want as an analyst, and he's got charisma. Like he's actually like you actually enjoy listening to him.
I like listening. Yeah. I like listening to Tony Romo too. I think he's a good analyst.
Yeah, he's a good analyst. I think he's getting a little bit into his character, but he's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
something about Tony Romo. It's just like, okay, dude.
Greg Olsen getting demoted from the #1 team.
That's
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
Tom.
because he's fantastic. I mean, Brady, I'm sure is going to be fun, but
How
I
do we
really
know?
like Greg Olsen. Yeah, Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen was awesome.
But you can't demote Greg Olsen on an unknown. Like Greg Olsen's been good. Greg Olsen was great in last year's Super Bowl.
He was.
Him and Burkhardt are a great team.
It's a situation with Olsen. I want to see him on Sunday Night Football.
Yes, that would be incredible.
Uh,
I like Schlereth too. I don't think he's like ready for like a primetime slot, but I like Schlereth in those Fox afternoon games. And Vilma, I like Jonathan Vilma's good.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really Fox has all the good analysts. CBS has Romo and Matt Ryan though.
And the Monday Night Football thing.
I just watched the Manning cast.
The Manning cast is okay. It is, but it's nothing overly special.
Well, it's like you're listening to a podcast and watching the game at the same time, which my ADD is like that.
Yeah, but I mean, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, I'm completely fine.
They're good. Yeah, they're
really
good. I just that's just my preferred style of watching a game is that. Because they have interesting guests and they play well off each other. That's very entertaining.
That time they brought Marshawn Lynch on there on the Manning cast.
It doesn't matter wherever you bring Marshawn Lynch, you better tune in because it's going to be gold.
Absolutely.
I love Marshawn Lynch.
I do too.
That guy's awesome. I think Pat McAfee's killing it. That might be a little bit of a hot take for some, but like I think he's killing it.
Well, he just got demoted off of game day apparently, and Saban just got put on.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of his choice too. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
he went back to Raw, but
yeah, he did. It's a situation. The Nick Saban thing on there. If Nick Saban is allowed to do that, and he becomes what Lee Corso was before the gimmick. Game day will actually be good and worth watching again. But if it's just human interest stories and that gimmick and all of the weird sideshow stuff, game day won't be saved. But they let Nick Saban be Nick Saban and use the GOAT and his football knowledge, which he is basically an encyclopedia of doing it. They can get into the weeds a little bit. He can explain it, which that is the reason he is so good at what he does and why he was so special is because he could explain it to people in ways they could understand. If he just does that on College Game Day, that product is going to be off the charts good.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Game Day. Like, here's where I think the strengths lie with the current cast and how they could bring Nick Saban in. I think you have Lee Corso. You kind of fade him out and kind of just let him just ease out. You bring Saban in for most of the segments. You have your two big analysts with Saban and Herb Street. You have McAfee as your entertainment guy, and McAfee's actually a really good interviewer. And then you have Reese that just brings you in and out of breaks. And then I don't know what you do with Desmond. Maybe Desmond's out. Desmond should be. I don't think Desmond like brings anything special to the show.
Yeah. He's auditioned for a while for Big Noon Kickoff, and it's about time for him to go that way.
I agree.
Yeah, I think he's kind of like the second David Pollock. Like both those guys are like good. They know a lot, but like they're just not. They just don't move the needle that much. I think McAfee brings the excitement. Herb Street and Saban will bring the football knowledge, like the big time analyst stuff, and then they have, I enjoyed game day this year. I think it was good. I think the crew.
They have to avoid the sideshow. That's always the problem with game day.
Yeah, I thought Hurst Street and McAfee, fed off each other well.
Yeah, they're really good friends.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he integrated really well into the set. So I would like to see that kind of keep going. But like McAfee has to deal with Monday Night Raw. Like McAfee had Nick Saban on his show all year long, and actually made Nick Saban sound human.
Right.
Like how like Saban and he made him sound. He makes everybody sound like they're humans, not just like programmed robots.
Although with Nick Saban, I kind of want a programmed robot.
Well,
I want to get if you have Nick Saban, if you are doing AP football with him, if you're not doing that, you have failed.
Well, Nick Saban. No, here's the thing with Nick Saban though, like with his personality, when he's a programmed robot, ornery, not really want to when he's just loose and having fun, that's when you get the best stuff out of him. Yeah, when he's loose. Like go watch his appearances on McAfee. Like he gives McAfee a lot.
He does.
Of behind the scenes stuff.
He's loose. I don't care about the behind the scenes stuff. I want the wonky football stuff.
Even the wonky football stuff. He gives you everything you want.
But Saban does that as a robot. He doesn't need to be loose to do that. That is his wheelhouse. He's been doing that for 30 years. But I want that. I think ESPN needs to lean on that because you have the gimmicks with Pat McAfee. You have the gimmick with Corso. And then you have the people that like the water carriers, then Desmond Howard and his Kirk Herbstreit and Reese Davis. Make Nick Saban's gimmick be the football guy. And don't try and give me a human interest piece about the student from Indiana.
He's not doing human interest.
Yeah, do not do that. Do not fall into that trap.
He's just giving you everything, but just a little bit looser.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be awesome at it because every time he's done TV, he's been awesome at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's going to change. But I want game day to be more about football. And Saban is an avenue for it to be more about football.
Right. If Saban's a program robot, he looks uncomfortable, is my point.
I know. I love it. That. That's one of my favorite things in the world. And I know I'm a weirdo on stuff like that. But I am a football robot. That is what I want out of him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So
all right, Super Bowl picks real quick, and then we got to do our 2 minutes.
All right, Super Bowl picks. I'm taking San Francisco -2 and the under.
I think I'm going to take San Francisco -2 and the over. I think it's going to be a little bit of shootout.
Those games are usually
like 35, 31 ballpark.
Okay.
Corey's got a cold or something, but anyway.
No, I've got a pistachio in the back of my throat that just went to.
Yeah. I hate to do this. I want to take the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Taylor Swift effect is going to help them out and let them win again.
She has willed this team to a championship. If the Chiefs win, I hope everybody says it's all because of Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think they win like 35-24.
Because the haters are going to hate.
Mm-hmm.
Just shake it off.
Yeah.
Just shake it off. Karma's the guy on the Chiefs.
So, yeah, I think it's like 35-24.
I do hope that Travis Kelce does not propose after the Super Bowl.
That is a rumor. I don't know how true it is,
but I want him to not propose just so everybody in fandom can melt down.
Yeah. I'm also taking Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown too.
I want San Francisco to win because I really like Christian McCaffrey. I wish I'd get one, but there's something about the Chiefs right now and that Taylor Swift magic.
I would love to see, and this has nothing to do with Swiftie stuff, but I would love to see Kyle Shanahan just get that monkey off his back.
Right.
I would love to see that. I would love to see, like, as much as like this whole Taylor Swift thing is spun into its universe that only Taylor Swift can spin into. I think this whole Brock Purdy like sticking it to the league would be hilarious. Would be awesome as Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get out of here, everybody, do y'all know what Cam Newton said about Brock Purdy?
Mm-mm.
Where Cam Newton said there was 10 players on the team that are better than Brock Purdy.
Oh, wow.
And Brock Purdy answered back and says, that might be true. There could be 10 players on the team that are better than me. But I tell you what, there's 90 quarterbacks in the NFL that's better than you because you're not on a single roster.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. It's like, whoa.
I love it. I love it.
It's like, way to go, Brock.
Yeah.
If you do that, if you show up with that against the Chiefs, you're going to win.
Dude, that's some Diego Pavias peeing on the midfield logo at New Mexico type swag right there, man.
Man, that's awesome.
That's a little Baker Mayfield stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
All right, 2 minutes, Corey.
2 minutes. 2 minutos. All right. So if you want to listen to the Just a Guy podcast, it's not out yet. So you're just
he's not even here tonight.
He's not even here to even enjoy and revel in his Just a Guy podcast promo.
He's got a touch of something.
You could say that again. So anyway, we are the 3-man weave JV basketball style. Jake Thomas, my man, Tide Talk Live. You can catch him each and every. Y'all go once a week, right, Jake?
Yeah, pretty much once a week. We got something right now.
Unless something happens. You catch me on Bleav In Georgia Dawgs, Locked On Vandy, and right here on SEC After Dark, Stephen Willis, Locked On Ole Miss. He's a loomer. And, trying not to be a boomer. No, just kidding. So I was just sitting there. I had to dunk it in there.
Hey,
so
Corey, you're head lover.
I am head lover.
Uh-huh.
Pause.
Uh-huh.
Pause.
Locked on Vandy.
Locked On Vandy, the lover. So lots of great content coming from the three of us. Steve, you're up to like 16,000 subscribers now at this point.
Got a few.
Give or take like 6,000.
Yeah, give me about 3 months and I'll be the most subscribed to podcast at Ole Miss.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. I think I'm that for Vandy, unless Vandy Sports has more than like 175 subscribers, but it's not a very high bar. You can listen to all of us on After Dark commentary as well, where we go outside the realm of sports and talk movies and television.
Yeah.
That's
which
coming
we're
soon.
going to, it's coming soon. I think we're going to do like Miracle and all of that. And 1923 is coming back probably at the end of the year. So we'll be able to get that exciting conclusion of what Spencer Dutton will do.
Oh, yeah. That's
yes.
I felt like it was like 10 years ago that we did that.
Yeah. I'm about to go back and watch the first season just to refresh myself.
Me too. Even though I could tell you exactly what happened, but me too.
This Spencer Dutton storyline is my favorite, but so you can catch a lot of great content there if you're a fan of college football and a fan of the SEC. Make sure you're the most informed SEC fan out there. Pay attention to what the other schools are doing. Steve, enjoy your Detroit Tigers fandom. Been a lifelong fan for a year. Yep. So with that, we are SEC After Dark, presented by DeadSoxy, Stewart's Cajun Dill Pickles, and BetOnline.ag. Hope you have a great Super Bowl Sunday. Please indulge responsibly, and hope whoever you're rooting for, I hope they win, and whatever bets you place, I hope they hit. And with that, we'll see you back here next week, better than ever, and fully in the football off season. But until then, go Dogs and anchor down.
Hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.